the Kaka on Substack. It's all about Aotearoa's political economy around housing, climate and poverty. I wanted to turn today to a survey that has just been published this morning. It's called The Mood of the Boardroom. It's an annual survey conducted by the New Zealand Herald, put out in a booklet with the Daily Herald and presented in a presentation with breakfast for the big end of town in Auckland this morning. So as I record this, it will be going on. It's the great and the good of New Zealand, directors, executives, chairs of the biggest companies and the biggest organisations. And the questions asked are about how they feel about the economy, how they feel about the government, and in particular, how they feel about particular members of the cabinet. So there's a ranking system which asks questions about delivery, presentation, strategy, tactics, and it's quite closely watched, particularly with this government, because the big end of town have been supportive of the government in the last couple of years, as you'd expect. But this survey today shows that the mood of the boardroom has turned on the government, and in particular on Prime Minister Christopher Luxon and Finance Minister Nicola Willis. So I wanted to take you through some of the results and give you a sense of the tone of the comments that have come back through the survey. This is from a survey done in the last month or so, actually before the 0.9% GDP contraction shock for the June quarter. And it was a survey of 150 executives, directors, leaders, and it asked a whole bunch of questions. It's put out in a booklet. I'd highly recommend, if you get a chance, to buy it. It's a useful guide of where the big end of town is at the moment. So the mood of the boardroom has turned sour on Christopher Luxon and Nicola Willis. There's a sample of the first few pages showing the mood shift on Willis's growth push. I have to say the tone of the headlines in the publication are not as strong as the comments within it or the detail, and I noticed that online some of the articles have been pepped up, I'd have to say. Key details that you need to remember are that this survey ranked Nicola Willis at 13th in the cabinet in terms of performance, so that's the bottom half of the cabinet, and ranked Christopher Luxon at 15th. So that's below David Seymour, Louise Upston and Chris Pink. Numbers 1, 2 and 3 were Erica Stanford, Winston Peters and Chris Bishop, in that order. So the overall ranking very low and much lower than we saw last year. So Christopher Luxon at 15th, he's down from 6th in last year's measure. And you can see there that Matt Ducey and Penny Simmons are at the bottom of the list, but definitely Nicola Willis and Christopher Luxon in the bottom half of the cabinet and ministers. Here's a few quotes from some of the people in the publication. Now, not all the quotes are named, but I'd be very surprised if there's any jiggery-pokery here. It's the New Zealand way not to be named, and Fran O'Sullivan is gets hold of these quotes legitimately. So, asked about the growth agenda for the government. What growth agenda? Said one chair. It feels like she, as in Nicola Willis, has chased headlines and cheap politics, and she lost massive credibility over attacking Frontier on the price of butter when she knows it reflects international markets. And a comment from another respondent. What growth agenda? Willis's so-called growth agenda is spin without substance. She excels at bashing business for non-issues like butter prices, but has not shown any genuine thought leadership. Another comment from an infrastructure company CEO, New Zealand is in a growth funk, and if this is her responsibility, then she has not delivered. Another chairman quoted in today's Mood of the Boardroom survey says about Christopher Luxon, Luxon has been a disappointment. The public don't want him. It's too late for him. He needs to stand aside or be removed by his colleagues. Otherwise, we will end up with the, quote, completely loony tune of Labour with the very left Greens and the radical Māori Party. God help New Zealand, was the quote. Now, just a quick run through the papers this morning. There's an interesting piece on a mother who is a migrant who's not been able to bring her 10-year-old son with Downs into the country. It's part of a campaign to get the Immigration New Zealand to relent on its policy that essentially blocks family members from coming in if they have any health issues. It's part of our fundamental problem where we want population growth, we want cheap workers, but we don't want to acknowledge that they're here and taking up space. And one way to do that is to not give them residency and to not allow anyone in who might need the health system. Also, obviously, the mood of the boardroom is the main thing there in the Herald today. In the Post, a look at the $1 million it's costing the public service to rebrand itself and take out all the te reo words for government departments. Also, just a preview that later today we're expecting the Reserve Bank and Nicola Willis to appoint a new Reserve Bank governor to replace Adrian Orr, and the current thinking is that it will be the Deputy Governor of the Bank of England, a woman who is an experienced central banker. In the press, leading with the Commerce Commission's decision to press cartel behaviour claims against Harcourts, which is the dominant real estate group there. And an interesting piece that's covered about particulates and the problems discovered there. The Waikato Times leads with a cafe going under. There's also a coffee company that's gone under in Wellington today, which is in the email newsletter. Some good news, though, from the Otago Daily Times. A decision to get rid of a cycleway has been reversed in Dunedin, and the Nelson Mail leads with calls for people to get on their bikes. And RNZ leading this morning with Donald Trump's attacks on everyone at the UN. I'm Bernard Hickey. That was today's chorus for Wednesday, September the 24th. Ka kite anō.